life is suffering, as the Buddhists say, and yet in the midst of that, there is a way to find a light, find meaning and hope, and that's what tragic optimism is. There are all kinds of little rays of light that the resilient people identify that carry them through. There's something about kind of the resilience of the human spirit that I wanted to study more deeply. When people have a sense of meaning in life, they're much more resilient. Oftentimes, the best way to cope with and to grow after trauma and adversity comes from understanding and finding a sense of meaning in what happened. Tragic optimism. It's the ability to maintain hope and find meaning even in the face of the fact that life is painful, that there's loss, that there are horrendous things that can happen. He wrote this book called Man's Search for Meaning, and it's all about his experiences in the camps and what he found there. And what he found is that, everyone in the camps, they'd lost everything. They'd lost their freedom, their possessions, their sense of identity. Many of them had seen their loved ones, their children disappear into the gas chambers. And yet, some people continued to believe that their lives had meaning and value, and they held on to a sense of hope. Frankl calls this, in Man's Search for Meaning, tragic optimism. People really are suffering right now. There is a sense, I think, the longer this goes on, of hopelessness, like when is this going to end? The situation does seem to, in some ways, be getting worse, in some ways maybe be getting better, but there's no end in sight, really. And so there's a lot of anxiety and uncertainty for people. Nearly everyone has experienced loss, whether it's the loss of a loved one, of a routine, of a job. So you definitely don't want to dismiss that loss and anxiety and grief by saying, oh, just be positive, just be happy. In fact, Frankl specifically said that tragic optimism and happiness and positivity are not the same thing. The people who are the most resilient to suffering, it's not that they didn't also experience the really difficult pain of going through the adversity. And in fact, in some studies, they actually experienced more pain. So they're not whitewashing the difficulty of what's happening by just trying to put on a happy face. No, they experience all the hard things, but they have something in them that allows them to also understand that, things will get better, that there is a meaning to be found here.